Welcome to GODZILLA-THON and the conclusion of the Showa series. Great way to end it. Ishiro Honda returned to direct this film. How fitting that the director of the first Godzilla would end the Showa series with a masterpiece. I'm going to say it up front that this is a must-see, must-own if you're a Godzilla fan. One of the best. And it also, unlike Destroy All Monsters, which focuses a lot more on the human characters, these characters are great. I care about them. They're fun. The one character, Katsura, is even considered the best female character in the franchise. Sakusa! Not my personal favorite, but she's in the top 4 definitely. There's an Interpol's involved again, the spaceman from the third planet. It's a direct continuation of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. The movie begins with this Marine Institute looking for the remains of Mechagodzilla. They get attacked and they're sub-destroyed by a monster, Titanosaurus. Through Interpol in the investigation, it's revealed that a scientist called Mifune discovered him like 10 or 15 years prior, was discredited, disgraced, had to leave his field. One of the investigators meets up with his daughter, Katsura, and we get a kind of love story of sorts between these two, even though they don't have much interaction. And it pays off later on. And we find out Mifune is working with the spaceman from the third planet. Now, when we see Mechagodzilla, they did change the design a little, which I like. He even has an MG2 on him, so Mechagodzilla 2. And we get to see a great shot of what it looks like inside Mechagodzilla. That's awesome. Go back, the one investigator, he believes Katsura's father was right, and out of the goodness of his heart, he wants to know and stuff, because not knowing that Mifune's still alive and what he's doing, he wants to help prove her father was right to restore his good name. Now we see the spaceman from the third planet, and this is a darker movie, have human slaves. One of them tries to escape and gets killed. He gave the space titanium to a worker that was in the area and gave it to Interpol. We even find out they cut the larynx out of their slaves. He had to sign the word Interpol on his hand, like that. And again, it's dark. And there's one point where we see the controller for the spaceman from the third planet whipping some of the spacemen for letting someone escape, and then he orders them to be executed. Now, Katsura, we find out, at one point Mifune was working on his project to control Titanosaurus. She gets electrocuted. The spacemen immediately come out in surgical suits, operate on her, and turn her into a cyborg. Remember what I talked about how I don't think the spacemen really needed that other scientist to work on Mechagodzilla, but they just like to mess with people? It's more of that. And there's dark scenes where, because Katsura is falling in love with the one guy, one of the spacemen point out, "You're a cyborg. He could never love you." Eventually, we get to a scene where Mifune and Katsura send Titanosaurus to attack the city. And there's this one jarring scene because her and some other people are trying to evade the military and the investigator. And I'm going to pause the camera to show you how jarring this is if you haven't seen this movie or noticed the scene. We see her getting ready to duck down, and she just jump cuts away like that. Again, here's Katsura. She's gone. And Godzilla ultimately shows up. They fight a little, but Katsura gets shot, and because it was explained earlier, Titanosaurus is really a peaceful monster. Because he's not being controlled, he jumps back in the ocean. They put Mechagodzilla's controller in her because there's another scene earlier where the professor, Dr. Mifune, who does look kind of like Colonel Sanders, I'm just throwing that out there, explains that Mechagodzilla will never have a real brain, so he'll never be as powerful as a real monster, and that's their way around it. They put the controller in her because she has a real brain. Like I said, they just love to psychologically torment people. So we get a phenomenal scene where Mechagodzilla and Titanosaurus attack the city and just do a lot of damage. Titanosaurus he even has this fin in his tail, and when he waves it, it creates super gale force winds. This suit was actually designed where the suit actor can get in it backwards and he can more effectively wave the tail. Now, there's one scene, and this may be my favorite shot of destruction in the entire franchise. Mechagodzilla shoots his missiles into the street of this residential area, and the street blows up and it like caves in on itself. We see two kids going to investigate Titanosaurus, and they more than likely get stomped. Godzilla shows up, and he goes to fight Mechagodzilla and Titanosaurus. I love this part because it's always been 2-on-2, 3-on-1, or 2-on-1 in Godzilla's favor. Or 4-on-1, technically more if you want to credit all the monsters and destroy all monsters. But this time, it's 2 against Godzilla, and Godzilla doesn't stand a chance. They keep pummeling him every time he builds up some offense. Another monster's there to knock him off of it. They even bury him, and while Titanosaurus is jumping on his grave, because of an earlier scene, we find out supersonic waves hurt Titanosaurus because another submarine escapes because of that. They make a transmitter, they shoot into his neck and start blasting him with the waves. Mechagodzilla goes to destroy the helicopter, and Godzilla comes out of the ground and takes the fight to Mechagodzilla. And we do get another great scene of Mechagodzilla unloading everything he has and Godzilla running towards him. This time, Godzilla rips the head off, and you're like, well, fight's over. Killed him the same as last time. No, there's a secondary head inside the main head, and it has this super powerful laser blast that not only knocks Godzilla down, but has him screaming in pain. While this is going on, the investigator that's involved with Katsura is captured. He manages to escape. Katsura's struggling not to kill him. The other Interpol agent shoots her in the arm, and she's repentive, and the guy's even doesn't care she's a cyborg. He's like, I don't care if you're still a cyborg. I still love you. This character, again, I like Katsura. She's in my top 4 favorite female characters in the franchise. And she explains, Mechagodzilla's controller's in me. You have to kill me if you want to stop this. And she shoots herself. That causes Mechagodzilla to go haywire, and Godzilla destroys it. We also see that this group of the spacemen from the third planet are not the apes. Personally, I don't look at that as a continuity issue. I think it's just 2 different species that cohabitate that planet. But back to Godzilla. He destroys Mechagodzilla, destroys the escaping saucers. So the third planet spacemen are gone, and then he kicks Titanosaurus's butt for a little, and he just goes off in the ocean, just wanders off into the sunset. A great way to end the franchise. Thank you, Ishiro Honda, for ending the Showa series this way. It was a fitting end and so appropriate that the director of the first film got to direct the last one. It's been a lot of fun doing the Showa series with you guys. Next is the Heisei series. It's looking like I won't have jury duty tomorrow, so yippee, I have to call at 5 o'clock, but I'm going to get up and call at 8 to be sure. Well, that's neither here nor there. You guys don't need to hear about my jury duty. But tomorrow, I'm reviewing both versions of Godzilla 1984. I have the Kraken Blu-ray and the Sumo Gorilla DVD, which comes with a copy of the American re-edit with Raymond Burr. I'll be reviewing both versions of the film. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I may or may not do a Showa retrospective. So like I said, like, share, comment, subscribe, even feel free to dislike. I'll see you next time. It's been fun.